So, hello gamers and welcome back to another video. I've been a player for a very long time for this game, obviously. I've been playing since like 2016, you know, I've been making videos about this game since 2018. I've been through every update to see what everyone thinks, right? And every time there's a new update or there's every year basically, people go, this is the year that Phantom Forces dies, dude, alright? Just such bad updates, dude, alright? I'm telling you, Phantom Forces is gonna die this year, and they say that every single year. And I also said that a while back, but it hasn't died, obviously, as you can see. I have this website here called Rollimons, and you can track player statistics on different games, right? And as you can see here, this is from 2020 to 2022. This is almost 3 years because this is February 2020, you know? And you can see, like, here in the start, it's very widely up and down, but this is during the pandemic, so it's gonna be like that. But you can always see that it's always had this like stable player base between 10,000 and 5,000. Oh, and by the way, this isn't very good at showing peaks, by the way, because as you can see here, they show that the peaks is 7k. But if we go to 1 week here, no wait, we go hourly here, yeah. If we do 1 week, we can see, no, 1 month, we can see that Phantom Forces broke 10k on September 24th. So it's not like Phantom Forces can barely break 10k anymore, because it clearly can on weekends, you know? But what we can see from this graph here is that Phantom Forces is a pretty stable game. And if we look back from behind 2020 to like 2015 and see that time frame, Phantom Forces has always just had the same sort of player count, even though Roblox has grown so much over the years, and every other Roblox game has can average like 100k players right now. Phantom Forces has stayed the same. It hasn't really increased, it hasn't decreased either, it has stayed the same. And I wonder, why is that? And I think my answer to that is that Phantom Forces isn't a trend anymore. Phantom Forces has cultivated this just loyal, stable player base, alright? Because in the start, Phantom Forces was seen as this like, what? No way this is Roblox, right? It was like the only game of its kind back then, and I feel like that was what brought its initial boost to like the front page, because back in 2014, like popular games back then was just like ride a train to the end or something, or ride a train into a noob, or like marble race or something, you know? Games weren't that advanced back in the day, but Phantom Forces just came out and was like, what? You know? Because the game previous to the Phantom Forces was Core, obviously, which was a solid game, I guess, back in the day. It wasn't like anything amazing. It was, you know, what you'd expect from a Roblox shooter in 2013. But Phantom Forces was something entirely new, entirely crazy almost. And in the start, that brought a lot of players to the game, because that was the only thing out that could, you know, that was actually interesting on Roblox back then, you know? But over the years, these players seem to have stayed, alright? Even with bad updates, even with a lot of bad bugs, Phantom Forces doesn't seem to have budged at all, you know? And I feel like that it's because there's not a lot of other clean, polished FPSs with the same progression as Phantom Forces. The only FPS other than Phantom Forces that has such progression that will keep a player playing for such a long time is Bad Business. And Bad Business is a very good game, but clearly it hasn't seemed to compare to the Phantom Forces player count. I love Bad Business, honestly, I gotta be real with you. And one thing that I've also noticed that I feel like could influence the player count a lot, and why its player base has been so stable throughout the years, is its YouTube watch base. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, because the Phantom Forces YouTube watch base is incredibly large compared to other Roblox FPS games. Even Arsenal nowadays, I don't think Arsenal YouTubers even get as many views as Phantom Forces YouTubers. And no disrespect to Bad Business YouTubers, but they just don't even get close to Phantom Forces YouTubers. Like we have YouTubers like me, Strider, 𝙧𝙚𝙧 Snowy, all of which will get over 10 to 20,000 views per video. Meanwhile, there's no other real FPS game that does that nowadays, you know, on Roblox that is. And I feel like that stable, just big watch base has always sort of helped Phantom Forces in a way, because it always brings new viewers to the community, to the game. Because some of these videos do get very popular for just being Phantom Forces, you know? Like, as unoriginal as it is, but those like using your Phantom Forces setups, They get a lot of views, and they also bring new players to the game. You know, overall, I just feel like this very consistent, stable watch base that Phantom Forces has always sort of been a positive impact for the player base of the game. You know, and you can't really see that on many other FPS games nowadays on Roblox. But yeah, now my point is that Phantom Forces just has a scarily large watch base compared to the amount of players that it has. Because I'm not gonna say that the Phantom Forces community is old by any means, but due to the fact that the game is so old now and there's so many just consistent, like, long-time players, that I guess I'd say the average player base for Phantom Forces is older than the average Roblox FPS, like Arsenal or something, you know? But one last thing I'd like to touch on that I feel like could affect the Phantom Forces player base a lot is Call of Robloxia, whenever that comes out. They said that after this framework update that they're gonna push, Call of Robloxia is gonna be their main focus, which I'm finally happy. I'm like, finally, goddamn, I'm sort of hyped for it, you know, considering how talented the Phantom Forces developers are with the years of knowledge they have from Phantom Forces as a whole. You know, I feel like Call of Robloxia could be great. I've always been iffy about the World War II theme, but I hope it performs well. But there's always gonna be people who will not enjoy Call of Robloxia more than Phantom Forces, and due to the fact that Phantom Forces isn't really an outdated game at all, it really is still one of the, it probably is still the most polished FPS game on Roblox other than Bad Business, you know? Like, Phantom Forces has really stood the test of time. But I feel like once Call of Robloxia comes out, it's still gonna have sorta the same player base as Phantom Forces, and I feel like that's gonna take a hit on the average player count on you know, Phantom Forces as a whole. And I'm unsure if Call of Robloxia will attract many new players. If anything, it might, because it's gonna be a well-polished game. But unless they made like Phantom Forces 2, I don't know. It's like, I'm very unsure how they're gonna proceed with Call of Robloxia, how they're gonna advertise everything, how the watch base is even gonna be on YouTube, if people will even care about Call of Robloxia, you know? But yeah, as a whole, I feel like Phantom Forces, within the next 5 years, it's not gonna really take that big of a hit until, well, Phantom Forces until Call of Robloxia comes out, it's just gonna be as stable as it is, you know? That's my whole point here, you know? But yeah, that's all I had to say. Hope you guys found my takes on this helpful. Like, helpful. I don't know. Now, actually, comment what you guys think about my takes, or what do you think about Phantom Forces player base as a whole? Because I've always found this interesting, you know. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I love you guys. See ya. Love you. Mwah.